All right, guys. So I wanted to go over an idea that I've kind of been conceptualizing for a little while, and I wanted to I think this will really help with any behavior that you might be trying to change in your life. So anything you're trying to change, I want you to think about what behavior do you want to change. So in terms of, our applications, binge eating, right? Eating way too much at a certain time, cheating on your diet in general, maybe it's drinking too much, maybe it's even smoking cigarettes. These are all kind of things that you can think about. So what behavior do you want to change? Then we have the next question is, what makes you do that behavior? What do you feel that drives you to that behavior? So if this is a really difficult habit to break, a lot of times our brain goes into reward seeking mode, right? If we drive by, if we see a pizza, right, our brain says, I want you to eat that. It's going to make you feel really good. So we want to eat the pizza. We can't stop ourselves, right? We have a cigarette because our brain is telling us that's going to make you feel good. We drink because your brain says that's going to make you feel really good. Do that. Okay. So what drives you to do that behavior? A lot of times it's your brain seeking a reward, saying that's going to make you feel good. Right. Now, the last thing is, how do you feel after you do it? Now, if this is a behavior you're trying to change, a lot of times it doesn't make you feel good. A lot of times when we eat too much, we feel full, we feel tired, we feel bloated, whatever it is. We don't feel happy. We might feel guilty about doing it. When we smoke, we might not feel good. When we drink, we get hungover. So how do you feel afterwards? Really try and picture that feeling or really feel how that feels. Okay? So now I want to bring you into what I call the guilt cycle. So the guilt cycle starts with that behavior. So for my purposes, I put, the cheating on your diet, a binge of food, but maybe this is smoking, maybe this is drinking, whatever it is. Okay. So now that brings us into guilt and shame, right? Maybe it's embarrassment. This is crossed out because of something else I was doing. We feel guilt, we feel shame, maybe embarrassment for that behavior. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The brain is designed for survival, right? So not only physical survival, but also emotional. So when we feel this bad feeling of guilt and shame, our brain wants to know what will make me feel better, right? So what will make me feel better? So when we go back to the initial question, what drives this behavior is reward-seeking behavior. So what will make me feel better? The answer to that for the brain is typically the feeling that made us feel bad in the first place, or the behavior that made us feel bad in the first place. So what will make me feel better? Well, eating a pizza is probably going to make me feel better. Smoking a cigarette, having a drink, right? How many times have we asked ourselves this and we say, man, I could use a drink right now, right? So that kind of puts us into this cycle, because then we do the behavior over, brings guilt and shame again because, oh man, I was trying to change this behavior, but it just made me do it again. What makes you feel better? Eating a pizza. Man, I was trying to not eat pizza, right? So we get stuck in this guilt cycle. And this is where people are stuck. If they're trying to change their diet, if they're trying to change their life, they are stuck in this guilt cycle. So how do we get out? The way to get out is to remove the guilt and shame. So that's why this is crossed out. And what that looks like is a new cycle, right? So maybe we still have that behavior, the cheating, the binging, the smoking, the drinking, whatever it is, right? But instead of the guilt and shame, it brings us to forgiveness. You need to forgive that behavior. It brings us to loving yourself. Okay, yeah, maybe I cheated on my diet, but I'm still pretty awesome. And acceptance. Yeah, you know what? I did cheat, and I can accept that and move on. So when we do that, our brain does not need to ask, what will make me feel better, leading to, boom, reward-seeking behavior. So our brain feels happy, forgiven, loved, and accepted. So then we can go to reflection, right? We can rationally reflect on, yeah, you know what? I did do that behavior and I feel bloated from eating that. I feel tired. It doesn't make me feel good, right? So we rationally think about it, and then that's where we start to make lasting, lifelong changes, right? Over time, when we remove the guilt and shame, when we get into this cycle, this behavior becomes less powerful, right? When we remove the guilt and shame, this behavior becomes less powerful, and that's where change happens. So whatever your behavior is, remove the guilt and shame. Now, it sounds counterintuitive because a lot of our initial thought is, I need to punish myself, I need to be harder on myself, I need to be more strict, I need to feel guilty. That's the only way to change. But study after study after study shows that guilt, shame, embarrassment, and self-punishment only leads to continued negative behavior. So the only way to change is to have that behavior, forgive it, accept it, love yourself, reflect on how did it really make you feel, rationally think about it, and make changes. All right, hope this helps.